My name is Craig White, and for the Module 8 case study, the job that I listed in my discussion that I discussed was, for my ideal job, was high school athletic director. There are several issues, facing today's high school athletic directors. Module 3 especially touches on several of them. Everything from, you know, club sports, their impact, the benefit of high school sports, the debate about whether, it's actually worth the effort. But there's a lot of other issues that high school athletic directors are facing these days. I've been facing for a while now. The first of which is finding qualified coaches. That is one of the primary responsibilities of a athletic director, is choosing their coach, hiring the coaches, selecting them to run their programs. Because high school athletic directors will sometimes dual as coaches, but at the same time, they can't coach everything. So a lot of times the success of an athletic program at the high school level is determined by how well the coaches do. So that is one of the primary things. And in a lot of surveys, finding qualified coaches is consistently ranked as one of the top concerns among athletic directors. One of the facts I found interesting is, like, despite the fact that many schools are finding coaches outside of the schools, a lot of athletic directors prefer to hire teachers to serve as coaches as well. One of the main reasons is that the biggest issue is non-teacher coaches. Rule 10, no coaches. That is their only job. Sometimes it's difficult to make them understand the education-based athletics philosophy. Whereas a teacher, they are well versed in the education aspects, the educational philosophy of the school. Whereas sometimes outside coaches that are not teachers, their focus is coaching, their focus is winning, and a lot of coaches are understandable of that. However, it does open the door for the coaches that do not necessarily, care about the academic portion. They want to come in and lead a successful program and win games. One athletic director said coaching stipends need to have a system that gives an increase to coaches for staying on the job for a long period of time, because there have been a lot of teachers have been declining, taking on the additional duties or coaching because the stipends have reduced and the money's not worth their effort. So another issue is reduced school funding. That has been that's affected everybody everywhere, but especially in schools. And when you're dealing with your extracurricular activities, music, sports, those tend to be the ones that get hit the hardest, or get hit first at least. And according to Coach and Athletic Director's website, their latest State of the Industry survey said 1 in 5 schools report an increase in their athletic budgets, which means 4 out of 5 have either not increased or have decreased, due to a lot of problems: economic instability, rising transportation costs, facility expenses. However, one athletic director in Iowa, Scott Garvis, said, there's nothing like excitement surrounding a high school sporting event. Upgrade your fundraising efforts. That'll start with conveying that passion and explaining to the market what it can bring, especially local businesses. So being more creative, getting the community involved, fundraising, a lot of times the community involved anyway, but get creative as opposed to the normal bake sale or just booster clubs running concession stands. Get as creative as possible, get the community involved even more, and that can help in that aspect. Additional responsibilities. directly relates from the budget cuts. So this issue facing athletic directors is because of budget cuts, a lot of school districts are forced to cut jobs. However, the overall school responsibilities remain unchanged. So certain functions need to be completed. And with fewer people to do them, now you're asking people to take on additional duties. Athletic directors are a common member of the school staff to be asked to assume these additional responsibilities, which can include teaching new classes, coaching teams that they wouldn't normally, be coaching, taking on dual roles as vice principals, especially, or directing other extracurricular activities, such as, or even a director of transportation, director of testing, and such. One of the survey respondents from this site said, I'm concerned about the time constraints and additional requirements for the athletic director. The solution would be for principals and school board reps to be more understanding and provide flexibility for athletic directors and limit their duties outside of athletics. And that is one of the key things that, they might be the easiest person to go to for these issues, to take on these responsibilities. However, they need to all come to an understanding of at what point does it become a detriment to their primary responsibility, which is what you're paying them for. A fourth issue facing athletic directors at the high school level is participation, which is mostly influenced by athletic specialization and outside influences, club teams, travel teams, AAU basketball, even sports performance coaching, where there's kids who they're not necessarily involved in club teams, but they are being coached outside of the scholastic coaching staff, and that's a time requirement. And so you're running into all these outside factors. Coaches and athletic directors have to be aware of them when working with athletes, when it's their turn, because at the end of the day, the high school coaches only get the athletes for a certain amount of time. The rest of the time either goes to teachers or, the students and their families. And they need to be aware of that. One of the strength and conditioning coaches in Denton, Texas, so one of the biggest challenges I face is making sure I'm careful with programming. Kids are doing so many activities outside of our doors these days. You have to be cognizant of what all they are involved in. The biggest opportunity is that you get to build a relationship with kids and they know you are looking out for them and doing what's best for them. And that starts with the communication, is letting student athletes know that you are concerned, you are willing to work with them. They do not have to choose one or the other. And one of the final issues facing high school ADs is, and this has been this way since the beginning of scholastic sports, and that's the parents. While most parents appreciate the opportunity, for their child within an athletic program for the opportunities, there are still some parents who can cause major problems. Excuse me. And this is something that has been around for a long time, but it seems to be getting worse in recent years. There's a lot more parents are being outspoken. They're being very overly critical. Why is my child not playing? They don't agree with the coach's decisions, and even arguments in the stands between parents. That is something that is becoming more common, or at least we're seeing it more. Some of the ways to address and mitigate these issues with parents, again, open communication, encourage it, open a dialogue, create a positive culture. Once you start communicating with them, encourage involvement, set clear expectations and boundaries. Because that's one of the things that I do whenever I start a new team with youth sports, is I talk to the parents. I make sure and tell them, hey, please come to me with any concerns. I am always listening. I'm always willing to listen. I will take it into consideration. If I choose not to go with their recommendation, I will give them a reason why. and I'll justify it, and we can discuss it. I always try to meet them half ground, or meet them halfway, find the common ground. I even had an issue with one of my players' grandparents last year in 5th, 6th grade girls basketball, where he did not like a call that the referee made or didn't make, and took exception, and after the game walked across the court and started an argument. And so I felt my job as the coach is like, nope, I'm stepping in. It's like, if you need to take an issue to the official, it goes through me, please. Unfortunately, I'm 5'10", and both of them were 6'5", so stepping in between them, they were still arguing over my head, literally. But athletic director in Iowa, an activities director, he said, dealing with difficult parents can be tough, but remember that patience, understanding, and clear communication can go a long way. Keep your cool, listen actively, and don't give up on finding a common ground. And that is always the key. And so those are the issues, some of the issues. There are others, but those are some of the primary issues facing athletic directors in high schools today. This concludes my case study for Module 8. Thank you.